Elvis Presley Enterprises called us and said, we need 2 eagle capes and 2 eagle belts for George W. Bush. The phone rang and Bill Murray called and wanted us to make him a costume. We made all of the Elvis jumpsuits in the new Baz Luhrmann movie, Elvis. It just started out as a fluke. I had no intentions of being a costume designer. I'm Butch Poston. I'm the owner of B&K Enterprises. We make theatrical costumes. First of all, I've been an Elvis fan all my life. And after Elvis Presley passed away, Kim and myself were engaged to get married. She said, honey, if you could have anything that Elvis had, what would it be? I said, I'd love to have one of his jumpsuits. And she said, jumpsuits? Why do you want one of his jumpsuits? And I said, they're pieces of art to me. I love it. A collector got in touch with me. His name was Jimmy Velvet. And he said, I've got one and I'll sell it to you for $30,000. Of course, I couldn't afford that. And so I decided I'd make myself some as basically conversation pieces. I'd bought a bunch of tribute magazines. Went to a place in Louisville, Kentucky called Bear Fabrics, and they sold all kinds of embellishments. And I bought the ones that looked closest to what was in the pictures, put them on by hand. I stuck each one on with my thumb and bent it over with a screwdriver. And that's how I made the first 4. I took them to Memphis, Tennessee, just to show them off in 1980. And at that point, everybody was staying at a place called the Days Inn on Brooks Road, a little motel complex. All the fan clubs stay there. They'd open their doors and they'd have buy, sell, and trade record albums and pictures, things of this nature. But this guy came in with blue-black hair and sideburns, and I'd never seen Elvis impersonators. And there was only like 15, 18 of them worldwide. And this guy come in, he looks at my costume, says, you're my size, can I try yours on? And so I said, yeah, I guess. So he tried them on, come out and was singing and dancing around in them, having a good time. And Kim and I thought this was the strangest thing we've ever seen. And then he said, how much you selling them for? I said, I don't have any intention of selling them, they're just conversation pieces. He goes, oh, you gotta sell them to me. He says, I'll tell you what, I'll give you $500 a piece for them. This guy pulls out a wad of money and he goes, I'm not teasing with you, I'll give you $500 a piece. And he started peeling off $100 bills. Of course, my wife and I didn't have any money, so it was like all the money in the world. So he bought all 4 costumes and we had a steak dinner that night, was able to stay and then come home and pay off some medical bills. While I was down there in Memphis, I got to meet a lot of the guys in what was called the Memphis Mafia. Now, this was before Graceland opened, so they would give little talks around the swimming pool at night. And then they come up to our room and saw these and thought we'd done an excellent job. Said, give me your name. People's always asking me where to get stuff like this. So I gave him my name and phone number. And that's how we really started. It just started out as a fluke. I had no intentions of being a costume designer. In '83, when Graceland opened up, we started doing contests down in Memphis. And people thought it was great. And so that just, launched us even further into this. So I started doing research and I found everybody had anything to do with Elvis Presley's costumes. And Bill Blue, the original designer who put all this together, he was so impressed with what we did, he gave me the original patterns, both studding and clothing patterns that he used for Elvis, and gave me a long letter of his permission to do it. And Bill and Gene Doucette, who's the other designer, assigned us the patents and copyrights and trademarks. Before you know it, we're Elvis costume makers, and we're making costumes all over the world. By far, the biggest movie that we've worked on, we made all of the Elvis jumpsuits in the new Baz Luhrmann movie, Elvis.